Hey, greetings from Mork's Saloon here. It's Tuesday night, regular weeknight. We're going to crank out some grass-fed burgers because that doesn't take very long. And again, we don't eat gluten in this house, which means we don't eat burger buns. And so we devised the, well, we didn't invent it, but we learned about the lettuce wrap in lieu of the burger bun as a result of being gluten-free. And actually we recommend that to everybody whether they can eat gluten or not, because those burger buns are full of crap. I mean, go pick up a package and look at the back of that thing. If you can't pronounce the stuff on the back, and if it's got more than 5 ingredients, please don't. There's no food value in a burger bun whatsoever. I mean, it's white bread, that's all it is. Maybe some sesame seeds if you're lucky, okay? So really consider scrapping the burger bun and going alkaline, folks. We'll show you how to do it. So what this takes is going to require some lettuce leaves. We put about 3 leaves per person because that makes a nice wrap. We're going to cut up an heirloom tomato and put that in there. It could be any tomato, but we happen to have an heirloom tomato today, so that's what we'll be using. It came from the farmer's market. Organic, 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 organic avocado. Avocados add a nice rich creamy texture to something like a burger, so if you like that, put an avocado on there, and if not, then just leave it out. It's got some very good fats in it that are good for you, so avocados are good to squeeze into every meal if you can, or any meal whenever you can. Finally, we have some red onion. What we normally do is we'll cut it in half here, and then get a couple of good slices, full-on round slice of onion. It's great for you, and red onion is actually quite mild. It tastes wonderful. So if you're not used to using onion that way, like, don't do just a couple of rings, you know, go hardcore. Put a whole thing on there. We'll show you how. Then we have some grass-fed cheddar cheese, organic. It's not raw, and that's the only reason we're not going to buy this cheese again, because raw cheese has enzymes, and this stuff is pasteurized. We discovered after we got it. So we'll use this for the cooking sort of purposes, and eat the raw cheese without heating it up. So this gets sacrificed. This is sacrificial cheese that gets used for cooking here. It's made from grass-fed cow's milk, which is important because your fats in any kind of dairy from grass-fed grass-fed cows is much better for you. Again, this is grass-fed beef over here. It's got a lot of omega-3 oil, like fish oil, like your salmon, and hardly any omega-6, which is not something you should be eating anyway. If you eat corn-fed meat, which most of the regular beef is out there, if it isn't grass-fed and finished, it's probably corn-fed or grass-fed and corn-finished. So be sure it's grass-finished is what you want, right? Anything that's been dining on corn in you know, the weeks or months before slaughter is going to have high omega-6 and low omega-3. You don't want high omega-6. It's very bad for your body. You want the high omega-3, like the salmon, the fish oil, and that type of thing. And that's what you'll find in grass-fed and finished meat. So that's important. Now, because we're not anal in this house, we are actually like real people. We do eat things like pickles and ketchup and mustard on our burgers. It's not a crime. These don't come organic, and that's the only thing that's not organic on tonight's dinner. But hey, it's 4 pickles, and if I find them organic, guess what? They'll be replaced. But so far, I haven't found them organic. Heinz, I hate supporting big corporations, but have tried just about any organic ketchup out there, and it just ain't the same. We don't use much of it, therefore, this will last me about 6 months, so that ought to say something. Finally, we have some brown mustard here, stone ground with apple cider vinegar from Eden Foods. That's a good brand, by the way. They produce foods with a conscience. Organic brown mustard. We'll put some of that on the burgers as well to make them feel and taste like real burgers, which they are. Actually, very delicious. Finally, we have, for those that are gluten-free, you don't have to suffer. We've suffered through every gluten-free beer out there. Don't drink Bards. It's bad. And there's another one. What is that thing? There's another one that's bad. It's got a kind of a light blue label to it. I forget the name. Oh, that's Bards. Bards is the one with a light blue label. Red Bridge is the one that's made by, I think, Budweiser. They don't taste very good. There's St. Peter's sorghum beer. That's pretty bitter too. We find the new grist is made with sorghum and rice. It's actually fairly tasty. And then Greens also. Greens makes a beer. G-R-E-E-N-S, I think it is. Greens. It's a larger bottle, which is dark green. They have 3 different types of, like a double dark and an amber light and some other wheat light, whatever. They're all pretty good. The darker the better. The double dark's very good in Greens. So if you haven't tried that, try that. And finally, for those who can't drink gluten beer, there's also cider. Samuel Smith makes a really nice organic cider, which we've enjoyed a lot. There's absolutely no sweet left in it. It's the same feeling as a beer. It's just cider, but it's very close to what a beer would feel like. It doesn't have any cider. It goes with a lot of foods because it doesn't have any apple sort of flavor or sweet left over like some ciders do. So we'll get to work on this, and then we'll get back to you when it's time to put the burgers in the pan, and then we'll move from there. Okay, we are ready for the burger part now. We have everything cut up, ready to go for the burgers. So again, these are grass-fed burgers here, and basically you want to make sure they're grass-fed and finished. That's the questions you need to ask. Easiest thing if you live out away from New York City. I mean, we're in New York City, so we're a little bit stuck, but we do have a farm in Pennsylvania we're hooking up with. It looks like we're going to get some meat from them. But you can hook up with a farm and get, you know, like a 1/16, an 1/8, a quarter of a cow, and cut up in various pieces and everything else, and just stick it in your freezer. And that way you can get grass-fed meat at per pound for the whole. Basically, it's a much better deal. And it's easier to find that way than having to chase around the supermarket trying to locate grass-fed beef. So, just a word from the, well, I won't call myself wise, but you can finish the sentence for yourself. Cast iron pans, they're nice and heavy, thick bottom, wonderful. The one thing you do will notice here is that this is made of exactly the same material as this. And it gets hot because it's iron, so get your old ragged little hot holder and put something over the handle from the beginning. That way you never make the mistake twice. So we're going to try to get this lit here, this gas flame. Let's see if I'm on the right one. And then we'll let this pan heat up just a little bit here. In the meantime, this is a, oh, that's the old one. That's the one that broke. Where's the other one? We have a better looking one. It is. Same one, but one broke, so they sent us a new one, so we devised a fix, so I might as well show you. Never throw away stuff that could be useful. Okay. That's an olive wood spatula. There's no plastic, no nasty toxins that can get into your food, just plain old wood. So let's put these on here. There we go. And now they're just going to sit and sizzle for a little bit and get browned at the bottom, and then we'll put some salt on there. And we have this Himalayan sea salt. We use this kind of salt because it is full of other minerals beyond just regular table salt, which has had a lot of minerals removed. This salt actually has all the complex minerals that naturally occur with the salt. So, then you can go find one and read it. And you know, it's the only thing I've ever bought that I think was made in Pakistan, which is kind of interesting. But they do have the Himalayas. So, let's see. Cameraman is usually the meat expert around here, so we'll take his advice when it's time to do things. But in any case, with grass-fed meat, you'll notice you don't get a lot of gunk coming off of it like you would with regular meat. You also don't get a lot of water coming off of it, but you do get some very delicious oil. And that's part of that omega-3 oil that we talked about before. It's basically good for your oil, so by all means, whatever oil comes off of your grass-fed burgers, eat the oil. Don't throw that stuff away, that's good for you. So what do we think, cameraman? Want to flip them?
Give it a go.
Alright.
Look under the edge, see if it feels
How's
Yeah,
that?
perfect.
There we go. And then we put a little salt on the, again, don't be afraid of salt. That whole thing about hypertension and salt and water unless you have a heart problem that has your body truly retaining water for reasons that you can't control. If you have a good diet besides that, okay, then maybe you don't need to eat as much salt. But frankly, salt alkalizes your body. Salt has minerals that your body needs to function. You know, so I mean, don't fear salt. But we don't use iodized salt in this house. We use good old Himalayan sea salt with full complexity, full spectrum salt. There we go. And it's important to salt your food after it's closed the pores, because salt actually can draw fluid from the meat out and cause sort of the good stuff to drain out and make a drier burger. So you actually do want to flip it first to make sure you salt the side that's already had the pores sealed, if you want a nice moist burger. So, but we'll let this cook for a little bit and then we'll get back to you guys. Okay, so we're going to flip them now. And we'll salt the other side. There we go. Put a little salt on the back and then let them cook a little bit longer. Then we'll add the cheese and eat. Okay, so we'll turn off the heat at this point and then put a couple of slices of this grass-fed cheese on here. Do it this way. There we go. Then we'll just let that melt in and we'll get back to you as soon as we're done. Okay, so now we're going to assemble this thing here. So what you want to do is take your lettuce leaves. They have to be dried, and you know, even if they're a little scraggly, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect with this. So you take one, line it up kind of like that. You put the shorter one in the middle if you have a short one. Put another one like around here, something like that, with sort of a fan shape. You want these to be close together, right? Something like that. You don't want them too spread out up on top, so because it has to hold together. So what you want to do is you want to put the burger on this part right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Right here in this spot right here. There we go. And you can see, I just want to show you the oil. See, the oils that come off this stuff, it's not the usual fatty nasty stuff. It's actually good clear oil. And normally we would scoop that on and put some on here. I'm not going to make that mess today, but you actually can just scoop it right on there. If not, just scoop it up with a spoon and eat it. But by all means, don't toss it in the sink. Don't throw it away. Okay, so we're going to dress these up a little bit here. And you can do whatever you want. As you know, a burger is a burger and everybody has their particular way. The key is that we want to show you how to do the wrap thing. So, and to pickle or not to pickle, that is the question. In this case, we pickle. And then, as I said, nice big fat slice of onion, right here, boom. Very good for you, and it actually adds a nice crunch to. It's a little more like a lettuce feeling when you're eating something without an actual bun. And so this actually, you might like it with a little more onion. Then we'll put a couple of pieces of tomato on there, and then a little avocado. There we go. Let me just wash my hands because I got a little avocado on myself here. So you can basically then just grab it like this right here, and it will crack, but it won't break. Go like that, and fold this up, and grab this thing around here, and then just close the sides a little bit like that, and you really got yourself a pretty nice container. And then you just start eating. You've got your burger right there. So, and usually the first few bites will be lettuce because you've got yourself some pretty good lettuce stalks, but let's do it. Very good. I know it will be when I get there.